Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and I was always told I had a voice radio, so today we are taking a look at a new Victini card, although it looks suspiciously like an old Victini card. 70 HP is nothing to write home about, first of all. It's just not particularly good. However, there are a couple of advantages. Firstly, the fact that it has less than 90 HP means he can be fetched with level ball. And secondly, 70 is a lot better than 60. To take a couple of examples, Umbreon GX hits 30 to the bench, so 70 HP means that you can survive 2 bench hits from Umbreon. Similarly, the Greninja Break card allows you to do 60 damage to one of your opponent's Pokémon, which will not be enough to KO Victini, but it would if he had 60 HP. It's also a bonus that being a basic Pokemon, he can be grabbed with Nest Ball. And actually, being Fire's pretty good, because I did a video recently about an Oricorio card that allows you to search out Fire Pokemon and put them straight onto your bench. So Victini being Fire does mean he can be grabbed by Oricorio. There's no point looking at the typing because the attack here is utterly garbage. Fire and a colourless, 50 damage. It's just not ever going to do enough. There are far better places to put your fire energy, maybe onto cards like Volcanion or Incineroar. The single retreat cost is a bonus, however, because it does mean that you can retreat with just a single basic energy, and because Victini is a bench sitter, that is a good thing. But really here, we are here for the ability. And the ability is the same as on the old Victini from Noble Victories. Or the full art from Noble Victories, or the promo Victini, or the legendary Treasures Victini. Yeah, there were a bunch of options, although the attack is, as I've said, slightly different here. So the ability basically says that if you flip coins for an attack, you can reflip them. If you don't like the coin flips you got for an attack, you get to flip them again, although very importantly, this ability does not stack. So if you've got 2 of these Victinis on the bench, you can still only use this ability once. You cannot put 4 Victini on the bench and flip 5 times. That would be utterly ridiculous. Although the ability in itself is ridiculous, and there are some circumstances where your game will be ruined by this Victini. So let's take a very nice example of this. It's no secret at this stage that I am a fan of Incineroar GX, and in fact, quite a lot of people messaged me when this Victini card was revealed to say, "Hey Ross, this could be fun with Incineroar." Incineroar's Tiger Swing attack does 80 damage, plus 50 more for each head you can flip from 2 coins, which means you've got a 25% chance of doing 180, which of course is enough to KO EX Pokemon. However, you pop a Victini on the bench and now you get to take that chance twice. It is more likely that you will be able to do this. You would expect to be able to hit this 1 in every 4 times, but if you get to do it twice every time, that means you should be expecting to hit this about every other turn, and that's very nice, ladies and gentlemen. That's very nice indeed. And of course, the other advantage with Incineroar here is that Incineroar's first attack does an extra 20 damage for each of your bench fire Pokemon. And being a fire Pokemon means that Victini can chill on the bench, and you're adding 20 damage to Incineroar's first attack while allowing you to reflip for Incineroar's second attack. He partners very nicely with Incineroar. But the most ridiculous partner we've got, at least for the time being, is Pincer. And thank goodness right now that you cannot attack on turn 1 if you go first. Because for a double colourless energy, Pincer from Sun and Moon allows you to flip a coin. And if heads, you get to put your opponent's active Pokemon and all cards attached to it into your opponent's hand. And if they don't have any bench Pokemon, that means you win the game there and then. And 50% chance of flipping heads, it's alright. But you add in this Victini and you've now got a 75%, a 3/4 chance of hitting a heads here and having your opponent get rid of their active Pokemon. That is ludicrous. But it's not just that. You might take something like a Lurantis with free energy attached to it, you hit heads on Roofling and all of a sudden your opponent, they can put down the Fomantis next turn. But unless they've got something like a Forest of Giant Plants in play, they go from a Lurantis with free energy to a Fomantis with 1 energy. That's not cool, ladies and gentlemen. That's really not cool. With this Victini, Pincer becomes very, very annoying. Now, I don't have time to go through every possible partner with Victini. That would take way too long. Although, if you've got any other ideas for flippy cards that I don't get to, please do pop them down in the comment section for other people to have a gander at. But I will give you a couple more. How about the upcoming Pukumuku, or indeed P-Dog? I've done a video on him, link in the description. His continuous tumble attack does 30 damage for every heads you can flip until you flip a tails. So it's not a great attack, but having 2 chances every time could be quite fun. And although it's not the most viable card in the world, I would be remiss if I didn't give a quick shout out to Beware GX. He allows you to, for 4 colourless energy, flip 2 coins, and you do 100 times the number of heads. Which means that you get to flip this twice now, so you end up with a 75% chance of doing 100 damage and about a 50% chance of doing 200. And let's not forget that you could combine this with the Ancient Origins EVs. I've done a video about them as well, link in the description. And although it's a very expensive attack, it does make Beware GX a lot more fun, at least for a fun deck. The last thing I'll leave you with here, when this was played initially, it was played with the Tynamo, because electric decks were good, so people would play the Tynamo where you flipped a coin, if heads you got paralysis. With Victini, you get a 75% chance of getting paralysis here, and people would play this Tynamo to set up behind paralysis. People could do the same thing here using Froakie. Use the bubble attack, you have a 75% chance of paralysis, and we all know that Greninja takes a couple turns to set up. This could give you those turns to set up, although Greninja is dipping in popularity somewhat. Way too many options to go through here, ladies and gentlemen, but I have got to give Victini 4 Wassies. There are possibilities here for just so many ridiculous combos, and it's not just things like Pincer. It is very likely that cards will be released in the future that, coupled with Victini, will be amazing, and it is that future opportunity that makes me give him so many Wassies. Although don't forget that being a basic Pokemon with an ability, his ability will be shut off by all of these cards. Now, you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. There is a comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. There are buttons to both like this video and subscribe to this channel. I would recommend you use them both. And you can follow me on Twitter at @TheWassie. And the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.